Hello, class. I hope you are having a great week. I really miss being with you, but I definitely wanted to record these lessons for you so that you would not miss out on anything this week as we continue to learn about verbs and how to conjugate regular present tense in Spanish. So I hope you appreciate that I have recorded these lessons for you and that you can continue to learn even though I am not actually with you. I also hope that things are going well and that you are doing a good job in all of your classes and that you're not giving any substitutes any hard times, because I would not like that. I trust that you're doing what you're supposed to do. Today, what we're going to do, we are going to fill in our ER and IR verb conjugation endings. So you have that page in your notebook. You should be able to find that quickly because you put that in your table of contents. So please turn to that page. This is the page where we put the steps for conjugating and also the verb endings for AR. So please turn to that page. We're going to start there. And after we finish writing down our verb endings, we are going to go through a bunch of ER/IR verbs that you are going to learn today. And you're going to take those notes on the sheet that I gave you on Friday. Okay, so please turn to your endings sheet so we can get started. Also, please make sure that you have your headphones on and that you're not just blaring my voice out to the whole hallway. So if you don't have a pair of headphones, you need to borrow a pair, and please make sure that you wrap them up tightly before the end of class and put them back in the bin. Alright, so as you know, there are three types of verbs in Spanish. We have AR, ER, and IR. The last couple weeks we've been working with AR verbs, so today we are going to continue working through ER and IR verb conjugation rules and learn a bunch of ER/IR verbs. So on that paper, you know that with AR verbs, it's very simple. We just need to take off our ending and then we add back a new ending that's going to match our subject. For AR, our verb endings are O, AS, A, amos, ice, and on. We've been practicing that, so hopefully that's starting to stick in your memories. For ER and IR, the verb conjugation endings are just slightly different, so we do need to learn those. We call them the sister verbs of ER/IR because they're so similar, especially IR and ER. They're very similar to each other. There's only slight differences, okay? So here are your verb endings. This needs to go in your notebook. You need to make sure that you write them down. We already have AR verb endings written down. There are spaces in your notebooks for ER and IR, so go ahead and put those in. Your ER verb endings are very similar to AR. Wherever there was an A, there is now an E. So it's O, es, e, amos, ice, and en. Notice how vosotros has the accent mark on the E in the ER verbs. Okay, write those down. For IR, your verb endings are very similar to ER verbs, and those endings are O, es, e, imos, is, and en for IR. So take a second, write these down. If you need to pause this video, do pause it so that you can copy all of your verb endings down so that you have them in your notebook. The conjugation rules for these verbs are the same. So we are going to decide if we're dealing with an ER verb. We're going to take off the ER ending and then we add back one of the endings for ER. Okay, so just be careful when you're dealing with an ER verb that you use an ER verb ending for that. Okay, so here is an example verb. Comer means to eat. Okay, so I have taken off my ER ending to have my stem, which is COM. And then we're going to add back our endings for ER, which will make it yo como, I eat, tú comes, you eat, usted, él, and ella come, nosotros comemos, vosotros coméis, y ustedes, ellos, y ellas comen. Okay, an example for IR, we have the verb vivir, which means to live. Okay, So I have removed my IR ending, and I would add back the endings for IR. I'm going to be careful with my IR verbs because for nosotros and vosotros, I have different endings than my ER, but everything else is the same. Yo vivo, tú vives, usted, él, and ella vive, nosotros vivimos, vosotros vivís, ustedes, ellos, and ellas viven. All right, that is an example. Those are examples of how to conjugate regular ER and IR verbs. Make sure you have those notes written down. Next, we are going to flip into our notebook to where we have the list of ER and IR verbs, and we're going to write down all of the meanings of these verbs that are going to be following here, okay? So go ahead and make sure that you're on the right page, that you have the list of ER, IR verbs that we already taped in our notebook last week on Friday, okay? Romper, romper means to break. Romper is an ER verb. Romper, to break. Subir means to go up, to climb, to ascend. It is the opposite of bajar, which is to lower, to go down. Subir means to climb or to go up. Beber is a synonym of tomar, which means to drink. Beber means to drink. Tomar means to drink. They both mean to drink. Beber. Comer means to eat. Comer means to eat. If I'm going too fast, you can always pause it and let yourself take the notes and catch up. I have a time limit on how long I can record these videos, so this is why I'm going a little bit fast, but feel free to pause the video and take your time with the notes. Comprender. Comprender means to understand. Yo comprendo. I understand. ¿Comprendes? Do you understand? Correr means to run. Correr means to run. Creer. Can you tell what this one means? With my X-Files reference and my UFO and Santa Claus. Creer means to believe. Deber. Probably the hardest one to get, especially with this picture. I will tell you guys, debes hacer bien en la clase con el sustituto, porque si no, la señora no va a estar feliz. Debes hacer bien. You should do well. You ought to. Deber, to ought to, or should. Debes portarte bien. You should behave. That would make me very happy while I'm out. Deber, ought to or should. Leer means to read. Leer means to read. Escribir, to write. Escribir, to write. Vender means to sell. Vender means to sell. Notice the reference to like a vendor or a vending machine. Same root word, vender. Aprender means to learn. Aprender means to learn. Ver, we've used a lot, especially with Brandon Brown. Quiere un perro. Ver means to see. There is an asterisk here, a star next to this, because there's an irregular yo form only. And I do want you to write down that irregular yo form because you will need it when you do the activity that's called over the wall. So write that down. In the yo form only, instead of taking off the ER and adding back just an O, it's actually going to maintain an E. So it's going to say veo, yo veo, I see, yo veo. So write down that the yo form will be veo, okay, for your activity that you're going to do later this week. Veo. Abrir means to open. Abrir means to open. Recibir means to receive. Recibir means to receive. Vivir, we should remember, it means to live. Yo vivo en King George. Ustedes viven en Maryland. Vivir, to live. Sufrir, something that many middle schoolers go through, right, with el amor. See, sufrir, to suffer. to suffer, sufrir. Assistir is a false cognate. You would think it means to assist, but it does not mean that. Asistir means to attend. Asistir. Responder. Responder means to respond. Responder means to respond. And
I didn't finish. It's
un momento. Oh, Justin is here. Hold on. All right. Just to recap, you should have your list of ER-IR verbs completely written out. Just want to quickly go over our pronouns. And just super quickly, we are going to look at our